Good morning, guys. We are going to start the new module math. Now, you may or may not have gotten it yet. So what I have to do is, some of you may have gotten it in the mail. I only have it from my computer. So what I'm going to do is you're going to see me go back and forth between my computer, which I'm looking at now, to go through the lesson because I don't have my book yet, like you guys may not. Um, if you do not have the new material, which would, let me get to the sheet that you guys should have. You won't be able to see it, but I can tell you what it looks like. So it looks like the first one has it says at the top, 3.3 like that, and it's got a big chart. Okay? A multiplication chart. If you do not have that page, it also looks like it's telling us the page. Does this one tell us the page? No, I do not see the page number on it. Okay, but if you don't have that chart, you can wait until you get that work back. Okay, that comes from us. All right, so it should come through the mail. But today, you won't have to do that. Today, we're just going to review and do the problems of what they're going to have us work on. And then we will begin the worksheet tomorrow. Okay, so just bear with me as I get everything set up for us. Okay, so the beginning of the lesson wants us to group count or count by our sixes, sevens, eights, and nines. So sixes, sevens, eights. Okay, try making this screen big so I can see what it looks like. All right, and that means, remember, multiplication is repeated addition. Okay, that means when we count by our twos, it's 2, 4, 6. But all that is 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. Okay, you're just doing that. If it's fives, it's 5 plus 5, or 5 times 2. Two groups of 5. So these ones are going to be a little bit different. Let me change the colors on these. So we'll do our nines in there. We'll do sixes here. Sevens. Let's see if I got another color. I don't know if my daughter grabbed the other markers. See it? Yeah, we can see it. Okay. We're going to count by our sixes, sevens, eights, and nines. All right. I will begin with our sixes. So I'll go 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60. I gotta make sure I did that right. Okay, those are our sixes. Our sevens go 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 6, 63, 70. Those are our sevens. These ones you're just going to end up memorizing. All right, remember, 2 times 7 is the same as 7 times 2. 5 times 7 is the same as 7 times 5, okay? So over time, just working on these, we're just going to be practicing. They're not easy, all right? They're bigger numbers now. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72, 80. Did I do them all right? Let's make sure. Times 2, times 3, times 4, times 5, times 6, times 7, times 8, times 9, 10. Looks good. And then, last one, nines. 9, 15, 27, 36, 55, 54, 63, 2, 1, 90. Okay? Not easy. We know it's not easy. Those are big numbers, and we have a lot to try to get through. Okay? This is just memorizing and working on it. Right? Maybe you can do flashcards at your house. You could. What's 6 times 1? 6 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5 times 6 times 7 times 8 times 9 times 10. And then 7 times 1 times 2 times 3. Okay? When you get this worksheet we start working at tomorrow, it's going to call the multiplication chart. Okay? Give you a quick small thing of what it will look like. Okay. Multiplication chart works this way. Now I'm only going to give you a small one. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is how they work. And this is what we'll be filling out. They take the two corners of the box and they multiply each other. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 3 is 3. Now we go to our 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. And then we go to our 3's. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. And then you can work on that. As this gets longer and bigger, you'll be able to do them all together because you'll see these are your ones, and your ones go up and down like this and side to side because order doesn't matter. 1 times 1 or 1 times 1. 1 times 2 is 2 or 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 3 is 9 or 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9 or 3 times 3 is 9. Okay? No matter what, it's going to give you the same answer. It just shows you two different ways. Okay? So, like this one, 3 times 2 is 6. Just like 2 times 3 is 6. Alright, so that's what they'll be doing on multiplication charts. We'll have this all the way down to 12. So we'll know by the end if you can memorize that chart. Out in our school, for my classmates, my students, sometimes you remember seeing that giant rectangle that one of our teachers have that's outside, giant square, that's outside next to the nurse's office. And my classmates, you guys would know, my students, that's a multiplication chart. They actually worked on it like that. You could go out there and use that. It's all filled in. We help paint it and whatnot. Okay? But we'll be making these to help with our multiplication. All right? So I'm going to get back to what we were discussing. So we have our 6s, we have our 7s, our 8s, and 9s. Okay? A way that we are working on it is they're still doing this next module, working on tape diagrams. And the problem says, Jerry brings 3 water jugs to her soccer game to share with the teammates. Each jug contains 6 liters. How many liters of water does Jerry bring? So, we're going to take our jug. The first number up here is the amount of jugs. We're filling up these jugs, so we have 3 of them, so we have to split this up into a third. Okay? Now you guys, if you want to, can write these problems because you don't have your worksheet, because this isn't on a worksheet, these are examples, on a piece of paper. If you ever wanted to pause the video, go grab a piece of paper. You guys could do that as well. Okay? So, we got our 3 jugs. All right? How many liters of water are in each jug? 6. Now, it did not say that there were 6 liters of water we had to divide it up into 3 jugs. No, they gave us jugs. We have to fill them up with how many liters in each? 6. So in this jug, how many do we have? 6. How many's in this one? 6. How many's in this one? 6. When we add them up or multiply 6 times 1, 2, 3, it gives us our answer. What is 6 times 3? Can anyone do their... Now you can do either your 6's 3 times, 6, 12, 18, or your 3's 6 times, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Okay? This means we need how many? 18 liters. Okay? That's what we're going to be working on throughout this course. Okay? So, they also want us to do it the other way around. Now, what they mean by that is we have 6 water jugs, and each of them have how many liters, we'll say? 3. We see this tape diagram. This was 3 jugs, 6 in. We got 18 liters. Now, this way. It's the same size because it's going to equal the same amount. Okay, so I'm not going to make them any bigger. It's just going to be smaller because they're all the same type of unit. So, now we split this up into a group of how many this time? How many water jugs do we have? 6. Okay. And how many liters are in each water jug? 3. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Count by your 3's, each of those. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Difference is 3 times 6 is 18, or 6 times 3. Order doesn't matter, gives us the same answer. Difference is this one has less jugs, more water, more jugs, less water in each of them, but they all take up the same amount of liters. Okay? So they're going to have us try to make similar ones. And like I said, the order doesn't matter when we multiply. When we multiply, the order doesn't matter. Okay? This is the commutative. Okay? So 3 times 6 is the same as 6 times 3. They're in like the same community. Right? But I think this type of stuff, this new module we're going to be doing, is going to definitely make us work on also figuring out what the problem's asking. Okay? Whether it's asking multiplication or division. Right? So, here's a couple more examples. Okay? 2 times 7 equals 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. What else equals 14? 7 times 2. Okay? 2 times 7 equals 7 times 2 equals 14. Right? Need both of these equal 14. Right? If we switch it up and I say 5 eighths. Okay? Is the same as Right around now. 8 5 will equal 40. Okay? Now, when they do it this way, and they do 5 8s and 8 5s, they don't want you to switch the words around though and keep the same words. They do not want you to go 5 8s, 8 5s. They don't want us to do that. Okay? Don't do it that way. It is the same. But what they want us to do is keep the words spelled out this way and the numbers written out this way, the first one. So if it's 8 5, and this is 5s, they want this one to be 8s. Okay? First ones are the numbers. Second one are them spelled out, or vice versa. But make sure that these guys are kind of the same thing. Either they're written out or they're the numbers. Okay? Remember, they mean the same thing. 5 groups of 8 or 8 groups of 5, they both equal 40 no matter what. Okay? That's why, right, when we start working on counting by numbers, if you can count by your 2s all the way up to 10, that means you can count by your 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s at least up to 2 times because we know the answer times 2. Remember? 2, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Okay? Now if I tell you, and remember this is times 1, times 1, times 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That means if I was to ask you, what is 5 times 2? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 10. What is 8 times 2? Even if you don't know your 8s, you know your 2s. You can do those with your fingers. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Okay? So by us being able to count up to our 5s, we can get a lot of our 6s. The only 6s we have not worked on would be 6 times 7, 6 times 6, 6 times 8, 6 times 9. But you know your 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, and 10s. Zeros as well because it always equals 0. That means anything 6 times any of those numbers, you'll be able to do it because you can switch the problem. You're not counting by 6s 5 times. You could count by your 5s 6 times. Okay? So let's see what else they would like us to work on. Now, they're going to have us tomorrow start working on our multiplication chart. I showed you a little update or a little example of what a multiplication chart looks like. Okay? Our multiplication charts that we could literally do right now with ease would be like this. We do our 1s, our 2s, our 3s, our 4s, and our 5s. And then our 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s. Okay? We can do all these. And this is what they mean by them. Make sure you guys are full screen so you can see it all. All right? Typically, they're going to do a multiplication sign up here. Okay? Or they're going to call it a multiplication sign, multiplication chart. That way, you're not adding them. Okay? When we were younger, they may have had us do like an addition chart. 1 plus 1, 1 plus 2, 1 plus 3. But this is multiplying. I'm going to make sure I put the multiplication sign up there. So we're going to multiply that way. We'll start with this number, and we'll do it. 1 times 1, it goes under the box of the first number you were going with, right? It adds up, okay? So 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2, okay? The 2's are going to line up like this. The 1's will line up like this. But then we also have our 1's lining up like this and our 2's lining up like this, okay? You're going to see the exact same numbers. Now watch how we could do this. I'm going to start doing it this row first. Okay, so 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 5 is 5. Now, if you wanted to start on the side, watch, it looks like the same thing. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 5 is 5. Do you see the pattern? Order doesn't matter. Now, you could either count by your 2's, they're all going to go in order, or count this way, up and down, whichever one. We'll start with up and down. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 5 is 10. And now we can go this way. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2. See, we've already filled in some of them already, and now we can go. 2 times 3 is 6. Same one. 2 times 4 is 8. Same one. 2 times 5 is 10. Okay, you see the pattern? Look at this pattern. Here's our 1's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's our 2's, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Here's our 3's, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Here's our 4's, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. And then here's our 5's, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And then it goes the same way sideways. Here's our 5's, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Here's our 4's, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. 3's, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. 2's, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 1's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when you figure out how to do these numbers, you're going to also figure out how to multiply with the use of one of these. If you didn't know any of your 1's, 2's, 3's, 4's, and 5's, but I gave you a multiplication chart, it's like a cheat chart. Chart. Okay? All you got to do is know how to use it. I say, hey, tell me 4 times 3. And you guys, most of you already know that in your head. But if you didn't have any idea, I find my 4's on the outside. Then I find my 3's. Where do they meet? 12. Take this finger down, this finger straight across, wherever your fingers meet. No matter what I do, my fingers don't meet until they're both on the same row and column. Okay? If I say 2 times 3, find my 2's, right up here. Find my 3's. Okay? 2 times 3. Start going down, start going across. Whenever my finger meets, that's going to be the answer. 2 times 3 is 6. 5 times 4. I can start on the side first. Here's my 5. I want to start on this side instead. Here's my 4. Beep, 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 beep. Am I in the same box yet? Nope. Beep, 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 beep. 20. Okay? So we're going to start learning how to use these charts. And it's as simple as that. Until your fingers meet up, as long as you're going across and up or down, you're going to find the answer. Okay? And if I also say, hey, can you tell me what two numbers do I multiply to equal 8? First, let's find our 8. It's like a division problem. Now I find the 8. Now, what two numbers make it up? A 2 and a 4, right? So 8 divided by 2 equals 4, or 8 divided by 4 equals 2. But we usually just use these for multiplication, but you can use them on other things as well. Okay? So this is the beginning of multiplication chart. We're going to work on those tomorrow. Okay? I figured out that I can actually use this website that I'm using with you guys to show you this and look at the screen. So it actually makes it even easier for me. So I'm going to start doing this instead of doing the worksheets. And then I can do it that way. Okay? Now, for some of you, if you guys do get through this and watch the entire thing, which I hope you always do, okay, and you're at this point, I can also do things where I can do videos through this, live videos on YouTube, where, or Zoom, because this one's called Loom, that I'm taping this on. Zoom is when I do those meetings. I can do that and share my screen, show you everything that you see on my screen, okay? So that can help you as well if you get stuck on things, okay? So bear with me. This is new material. It may get difficult, but I think that we're going to be able to manage with it, okay? So if you need any help, please let me know, all right? You guys have a fantastic day.